Independent Electoral Commission says it's engaging the COGTA minister to determine the date for the upcoming local elections. It says that voting should take place tentatively between the 2nd of November 2026 until the 30th of January the following year. The IEC wrapped up a briefing just moments ago and Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala attended. Nqobile, a very good afternoon to you. Quite a bit coming out of that briefing as well. If you could just give us an update on some of those key points.
Well, yes, Masa, quite a bit indeed coming out. Like that 90 days, we've already been identified the sweet time, basically, to be able to get those elections going. But what we're hearing as well is that the IEC is getting ready for the local elections, which is very important, and also to ensure that there's registration of various parties. And you'll remember that not so long ago, the IEC was talking about some of the parties that had not been active, even though they have been registered, and talking about the deregistration. So that coming out, the e-voting also coming out, very important. You'll know that's where a lot of young people have utilized that service. But there's also a great concern around young people actually going out to vote. And I want to bring in now Sy Mamabolo to speak to us about those details. I think for starters, one would like to know just how ready is the IEC? We know it's early days, but in terms of the work you've done on the ground.
Well, we're getting ready. Our planning is currently underway, and we should be in a position in the next month or two to complete the plans. And those plans will be vigorous enough to take us through election day whenever it's set.
We know that just recently there's been an announcement of the IEC, which is very important because now we are going to be seeing COGTA as well as various parties also trying to assist in terms of ensuring that there is readiness in terms of those local elections. How are you going to be working with them?
The MC is a very important state structure wherein participates significant government departments, basic education, COGTA, finance, and so on. And its primary responsibility is to ensure that there is coordination of support to the Electoral Commission to create conducive conditions for the conduct of elections. So SAPS is part thereof as well. And we receive reports about what the state is doing to support the electoral process. And we hope that we will receive the support as we had in the past.
And just how important is it that young people actually vote? Because we can see that a chunk of them are still not voting.
Well, young people's participation in election is crucial because without them, our democracy is undergoing a process of decay. And we can't allow that to take root. So we're taking efforts to go to schools, we're taking efforts to go to institutions of higher learning. And we are appointing ambassadors within higher learning institutions precisely because we want to capture those young persons within the formal education system. But we are also alive that there's a significant proportion of young persons who are not in either schools nor institutions of higher learning and are considering measures as to how we can engage with that element of the youth category.
There's also these parties that you have spoken about that have been inactive in a sense. Some of them being able to be deregistered, whilst others are saying don't deregister us, we're still part of that. Now, how crucial is it that you are able to get these representation, and can all of them be able to go back and be registered?
Yes, the Commission is due to cancel the registration of about 53 parties who did not make any representations and did not respond to our invitation for them to make representations. Now, in the event they wish to re-register, they'll have to start the process afresh. They'll have to publish their intention to register, allow it to lie for 14 days, either in the government gazette or in the local paper that's circulating in the municipality in which they wish to be registered. They need supporting signatures of persons who support the formation of that party and the like. So The 53 will be, their registration will be cancelled, and in the event they wish to resuscitate their registration, they'll have to start the application process anew.
One of those parties was SACP that you had spoken about. Take us through the details around that.
The SACP has made the representation, so their registration has been preserved by those representations.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Sy Mamabolo, and he is from the IEC. And Masa, quite a lot coming out of that briefing, but also very important as we speak about the parties that were or will be deregistered. He speaks about the importance of people to follow up, and since there was no follow-up and no any response from those parties, this means that they will have to start again once they have been deregistered. But also just sort of a plea from young people to say that they need to go out there and actually vote and participate in their democratic right. And that is one of the things that the IEC is actually quite pushing on a drive on. And this is why you find themselves in school, in colleges and high schools to try and get the young people to also participate.
Young Ngoble, we did hear him there in that briefing also speaking quite at length about that 18 to 34-year-old groups. That's our Newzroom Afrika reporter, Ngoble Madlala.